If I could give just one piece of advice to women in their 40s who are struggling with weight gain, mood swings, and any other perimenopause symptoms, it would be to track your hormones. Now, I understand tracking something is the last thing that you want to do. I get it. I don't even track my own workouts. But hear me out on this one. One huge benefit of tracking your hormones is it gives you a sense of control over your body when you're going through a phase where you feel like you have little to no control over what's happening, right? Would you agree with me? This is a phase in your biological life where your hormones are fluctuating to a point where you don't know if tomorrow your pants are going to feel a little snug or what kind of mood you're going to be in, and it can make you feel like you're going crazy. So the truth is, you're not crazy. It's actually your hormones that are going crazy. So today I'll share with you how to track your hormones easily and effortlessly, and how to use this data to align your nutrition, fitness, and rest habits to mitigate any mood swings, weight gain, and any other perimenopausal symptoms. All right, before we dive into the good stuff, let's tackle the legal stuff. So I'm not a licensed medical professional, which means I'm not qualified to diagnose or treat any hormonal fluctuations. My role as your health and fitness coach is to help you create sustainable nutrition and fitness lifestyle habits that work for you. And today I'll share my experience based on my personal experience and my knowledge based on my in-depth training of perimenopause and menopause. Okay, got it? All right, let's dive right in. I'm Melissa King, board certified health and wellness coach, ACE certified personal trainer, and Girls Gone Strong women's health coach. All right, let's first talk about your reproductive years when you're ovulating and you have regular menstrual cycles. It's pretty easy to predict what your hormones are doing throughout your cycle. Now, there are a couple exceptions to this. If you don't ovulate, or if you don't have a period, or you have you've been diagnosed with any form of PCOS or endometriosis. That is actually, these reasons are another great motivation for you to start tracking your hormones, so maybe you can get your hormones back on track and maybe start having periods again, start ovulating again, manage your PCS and endometriosis a little bit more efficiently. Okay, so at the beginning of your cycle, estrogen begins increasing. The first day of your cycle is the first day of your period. So that's when your cycle starts new. This is the follicular phase. So after ovulation, you enter into the luteal phase. So this is when your estrogen begins to decline. Your progesterone increases during ovulation, during and shortly after ovulation, and then declines a few days before your period. So you may have a sharp decline. So low progesterone can trigger sugar cravings, which is why you basically want to eat all the sweet stuff right before your period, or salty. Maybe salt and fat are your cravings. So this is also the phase where your estrogen begins to decline. Now, when you reach your 40s, even for some women, their late 30s, your hormones fluctuate more frequently. So this could explain unexplained weight gain, mood swings, insomnia, brain fog, low energy, and other perimenopausal symptoms. So now let's talk about how tracking hormones, specifically estrogen and progesterone, can boost weight loss, minimize anxiety, and also mitigate brain fog, which is what we want. I have been experiencing brain fog on and off for the last couple of years, and it's very frustrating. So, but tracking my hormones really helps me just get a grasp on what's really happening. Okay, so let's talk about how the body works. So your body is made up of systems that interact with each other by increasing one hormone and decreasing another. So estradiol is the prominent estrogen hormone in your reproductive years, and this specific estrogen keeps a handful of hormones in check, right? So for example, estradiol works with your satiety hormone, leptin, to let your brain know that you're finished eating and you've had enough. You don't need any more calories. So obviously, when your estrogen levels are low, it can't communicate with your brain as effectively to let you know it's time to stop eating, which in turn leads to overeating. All right, now this is a really interesting fact, this next one I'm going to share with you. And when I learned this a couple years ago, it was a game changer for me. Low estrogen increases insulin resistance. So what does this mean? This means your body isn't able to distribute the nutrients from carbs as efficiently as it should if it were more insulin sensitive. So when this happens, your body actually stores carbs as fat and sends your blood sugar on a roller coaster ride. So when you're insulin sensitive, your body can burn carbs more efficiently by moving them through your bloodstream without the roller coaster ride. Amazing, huh? Okay, so keep listening and we'll dive into really how to get this under control. All right, now let's talk about how estrogen impacts sleep. So when your estrogen levels are low, you may not sleep as well. The same goes for progesterone. If you noticed, because as I mentioned before, in the beginning, your estrogen declines at the very end of your cycle. So 2 or 3 days before you start your period again, you may notice that maybe you won't be able to fall asleep as easily, or if you do wake up in the middle of the bathroom, for example, to use the restroom, you may not be able to get back to sleep. This is because your progesterone just does a sharp decline 2 to 3 days before your period. So if you have trouble falling asleep, staying asleep, or just, like I said, wake up in the middle of the night and you're like, oh my God, I can't get back to sleep, this could be due to low estrogen and progesterone. When you're not getting great sleep, you're more likely to experience sugar cravings, false hunger, and anxiety. This is why sleep is super important. All right, now how does this help with weight loss? So if you know your estrogen levels are low, you can actually make choices throughout your day knowing that you may want to eat an entire box of cookies or a bag of salty potato chips because of false hunger and cravings. It's super easy to be reactive when it comes to food by giving you into your body's cravings when it actually prefers whole foods. The solution is actually very simple. Focus on prioritizing whole foods with protein first, fish, beef, bison, chicken, pork, eggs, whatever you prefer. Healthy fats second, dairy, butter, avocado, non-starchy veggies third, broccoli, asparagus, spinach, whatever non-starchy veggies, and fruit would be fourth, preferably berries, because those are high in antioxidants and they have a lower glycemic index, which means your body metabolizes them a lot slower than other fruits. So this will help your body keep these hormones in check. Okay. I'm not talking about estrogen and progesterone. I'm talking about it will help keep your hunger, satiety, and your melatonin, your sleep hormone, in check. All right, so what does this mean? When you become proactive with your nutrition, you naturally fall into the habit of working with your body rather than against it, okay? Your sleep, mood, energy levels, and everything else will fall into place. Okay, I already touched on this just a second ago, but I'll reiterate it. Will whole foods actually increase your estrogen levels? Probably not. However, if your estrogen levels are low, feeding your body like processed junk food will only intensify your perimenopausal or menopausal symptoms, okay? So think of it like that. So just to be perfectly clear, it's not going to increase your estrogen and progesterone, but what it can do is help kind of mitigate it and minimize any of these symptoms. Okay, if you want to increase your estrogen, I highly encourage you to speak with your healthcare provider about hormone replacement therapy, or also known as HRT. So I did interview my friend Dana Salisbury Duarte, who is a nurse practitioner who works with HRT with her patients, and we had a really amazing conversation at the beginning of this year about HRT. So I encourage you to go back and check that episode out. All right, so if you're not sleeping great because your progesterone and estrogen are low, this is actually a great opportunity to take an active rest day from a workout and just go for walks throughout the day. And you may even consider taking a nap or simply lying down for 20 minutes for an afternoon energy boost. And to be honest, as the day I'm recording this episode, I am experiencing 2 nights in a row of not sleeping well, most likely due to low levels of estrogen and progesterone, because I am measuring my hormones. So today I consciously chose not to work out and replace my workout with a nutrient dense meal with protein centered. So how do you track your hormones? It's actually super simple. So you can do this in the comfort of your own home. There's several hormone tracking products on the market. I personally use Mira, just for full disclaimer. Also, this is the only one I've used. And, but to be honest, it's actually been pretty accurate so far. So if you have irregular periods, this is a sign of perimenopause, early perimenopause. It's new territory for you, like it is for me. The Mira app will actually predict when your next period is going to start. So you don't have to be surprised, because this is one frustrating thing. And I know that if you're a woman and you're listening to this, you will appreciate this. If you've ever had a surprise where you didn't expect to start your period on a specific day, you weren't prepared, it can be incredibly frustrating, right? And maybe a tad embarrassing because you don't have the supplies you need. So this, and also being able to predict, like if you're traveling, we went backpacking at the end of July, and I was concerned that was the week I was going to, start my period, because I didn't know. My cycles have been so irregular that I just didn't know when it was going to start. Thankfully, I started before, so it was all good. But this is why tracking with the Mira app is super helpful. So yeah, and at that time, that's quick anecdote I just shared with you, I was not tracking my hormones. I had done it for a month, and then I stopped tracking, and then right after that I got back to tracking, and I gotta say, it predicted my next period, even just after a couple of tests, spot on. It was amazing. I was so impressed with it. So I want to also address something else that, so many women I talk to say, oh, I've had my hormones tested by my doctor and the results came back within normal ranges. But they're still experiencing, mood swings, irregular periods, and hot flashes, any other perimenopausal or menopausal symptoms. And here's the thing, one snapshot of your hormones is not a good measurement of what's really going on, because your hormones fluctuate from day to day, and not only from day to day, but throughout the day. So it's best to track your hormones for at least a few cycles to really kind of see if there's a pattern going on. All right, so one of the things I love about the Mira app is that it will create a testing schedule for you when you input all your info, including what you want to test. So there are tests for fertility, or you could track where you are in the menopause transition, which is something that I'm currently tracking. So you input what you want to test, any kind of health issues that you have, and then it will create a testing schedule for you, which is pretty awesome. And it's actually super simple. So you basically just fill a little silicone cup with pee. I do it first thing in the morning because you have to do it. You can't eat or drink anything within 2 hours of testing. So I just do it first thing in the morning. It just makes it super easy for me. And then you dip the wand in for 20 seconds. You put the other end of the wand into the monitor, and you basically wait for about 20 minutes or however long that specific wand takes to read the results. And you just wait. So I do it in the morning, right before I start making coffee. So as I'm brewing the coffee, the test is going. Okay, one amazing feature of the Mira app that I'm a huge fan of is the ability to download your report of your hormone levels and send it to your healthcare provider to share your data. Now, this will help them recommend, the appropriate treatment for you, whether it be hormone replacement therapy, or if they notice a pattern and they think something else is going on, it could maybe encourage them to do further testing. And also, if you're enrolled in my one-on-one health and fitness coaching program, you can share your data with me. And this will actually help me guide you in creating a fitness and nutrition plan that works for you. Now, just to be perfectly clear, I can't analyze the data. I analyze my own data because it's mine. I'm not qualified to do that for clients. So if you want to track your hormones, I will put the Mira app down below, the link down below for you to check it out. And just full disclaimer, full transparency, I earn a small commission when you order from my Mira affiliate link. So, all right, so how do you want to track your hormones, and how do you think you could benefit from it? Are you experiencing mood swings, irregular periods, or maybe you're just curious and you just want to know what's happening? So, all right, thanks for listening, and I'll see you later.